Oh boy, where to begin with this one? Welcome back to Book Reviews That My Wife Asked For. This is the third installment, and it is the third book in the Court of Roses and Thorns, Thorns and Roses series. This third book was A Court of Wings and Ruin. Um, right out the gate, this was my favorite book so far in the series, and I know there are more books in the series, but and it's not that the other two weren't strong, but this was strong. There's a lot of characters to go through. Some of these were new characters introduced. Some of them were characters that we're already building upon. I'll start with the Seven High Lords, mainly so I don't miss them, because if I try to think of them later, their names won't be fresh on my mind. Obviously, Reese being the head of the Night Court. Excellent development with his character, as always. Excellent use of him within the plot narrative, driving other characters to do this, that, or the other. As always, big fan of Reese. The Day Court, Helion, is now my favorite High Lord. Sorry, Reese. Helion is prime. Big fan of him. Love that he matches Reese's energy, excelling it even at times. Big fan of Helion. Glad that he survives. The Dawn Court, which is Thiessen, I believe is his name. I don't really have too much of an opinion on him. I appreciate what he brings to the table, though. So that's our solar courts, our seasonal courts. I'll get to Tamlin last. Summer court. I'm blanking on his name. Adriata is the name of his capital city. It's a T. Tarkin. Tarkin, of course, is great. I love him. He didn't do terribly much in this novel, except it come to aid when he was supposed to, so I appreciate that. The Winter Court, Callius, his wife, Vivian, I actually like more than him. It's not that Callius isn't cool, because he's a cool guy, no pun intended, with Winter Court. But Vivian is where it's at, and the fact that her and Moore are such good friends is just excellent, and I love that. Baron. Boy, I really hope Eris usurps him soon. Baron came through in the end. I'll give him that. He came through in the end. He delivered, including, and spoiler alert, again, I would hope you would not be watching a book review of a book you haven't read. When he helps bring Reese back, he did a solid. Which brings us to Tamlin. Did Tamlin show up when it was important? Yes. Did Tamlin work as a spy? Yes. Did Tamlin bring Reese back? Yes, to his credit. He helped bring Reese back. I still don't know if that forgives him. All of those actions were duty-bound, right? He knew the ramifications if Hybern won, and he pointed out to Feyre that, he may have his issues, but he still has his principles, and he would never let a tyrant like that rule, regardless of his feelings for Feyre. And so, a lot of his actions that seemed redemptive were more duty than redemptive. He's going to have to do some personal healing before I can give him a blank check of forgiveness. To his credit, he has done his duty despite his feelings, even and including bringing Reese back. I do feel like that was more duty, even though he said, Feyre, I just wish that you'll be happy. I still feel like that was a mix of duty and some healing. Maybe Tamlin will heal. I still don't respect him right now. Amren. I knew Amren was a bad A. I knew it, but now we saw. Man, power's so powerful. Not only did she wipe out the entire Hybern army, but she destroyed the cauldron in the process. Like, girl. I knew Amren was great. I am shocked that the Bone Carver's death hit me. The Weaver's death didn't. It happened kind of quick anyway. But I wasn't nearly as attached to the Weaver as I was the Bone Carver. I was terrified of the Bone Carver. And I'm not going to lie, his death actually got me a little bit, but he died a good death. He definitely went down how he wanted to go down. That's why he put Feyre through what he did with the Ouroboros mirror to prove that that cause was worth dying for, and that would be as good a place as any to take a final stand. So, good on the Bone Carver. Good character development, of course, with Moore and Cassian and Azriel. Moore, I had shipped Moore and Azriel so hard. And I'm like, why won't you two just admit your feelings for each other? And then again, spoilers, but again, you should not be watching a book review of a book that you have not read. She's a lesbian. Well, I mean, she'll also sleep with men, but she definitely says that she prefers women. Sorry, Azriel, but I wish she would be honest with Azriel about that. I understand the trepidation. I honestly do. When there's still certain people that I have not come out to as bisexual, so I understand the struggle there. But I wish she would just admit it to Azriel, because it would do them both some good. But that was good character development. Nesta and Elaine, of course, had massive character development in this book. Sidetrack, I was shocked to find that their father brought that human force at the end. After being completely useless the first two novels, he absolutely came in clutch. And that's spectacular. Nesta and Elaine, I love their character development. Elaine being crushed by her lover, whose name escapes me, the Human Lord's son. That was devastating. I wonder if with time she'll come to embrace Lucian. And again, speaking of Lucian, again, spoiler alert, but you should not be watching a review for a book you have not read. The fact that Helion is his father, I'm not gonna lie. Secretly, I giggled like a little schoolgirl when I found out that Baron was cucked by Helion. To the point that Helion now actually has a legitimate heir and doesn't even know he has a legitimate heir. Now, of course, that's probably going to cause some inter-court problems, right, between the Autumn Court and the Day Court, with Lucian being the heir, since Lucian's mother is the queen of the Autumn Court and Lucian's father is Helion, the king of the Day Court. So we'll see where that goes. I liked Vassa. We were finally introduced to Queen Vassa. She seems tight. We got a little bit at the tail end there out of... I'm blanking on their names. The two from the prior war that are an interrace couple. Can you say race? Human and Fae? You know what I mean. Anyway, them. We got some good development with them. We met Nephila. I think I'm pronouncing her name right, which was nice, because Nephila was the inspiration for Feyre to learn how to fly. Overall, again, Sarah Maas, killer with the writing style. I'm usually good at plot twists. I didn't see half of this stuff coming. Jurian being a good guy, didn't see that coming in the slightest. Tamlin coming around actually being a spy, didn't see that coming in the slightest. The Bone Carver's death, I definitely didn't see coming. Excellent writing style, keeping you engaged, excellent character development and world building. Again, no major plot holes that I can think of. Easily, this has been my favorite book in the series, and I know, of course, that there are more books that I have not read yet. Again, I would give a parental guidance warning. It is very violent, especially this book, and there are pretty graphic sex scenes. Not like pornography level of graphic per se, but they're up there. So, parental advisory warning. Really wouldn't recommend for anybody under the age of 16, maybe 18. But overall, I would give this a 9 out of 10, which I think is the highest I've given a book in book reviews that my wife asked for. I gave a higher one in book reviews nobody asked for, which was a 10 out of 10 for the food safety manual that I reviewed in that series. But in this series, this has been the highest score so far, a 9 out of 10. I don't know if I can give it a 10 out of 10. I may retroactively give it a 10 out of 10 when I finish this series, but it gets a 9 out of 10 for right now. So that has been our book review that my wife asked for, A Court of Wings and Ruin. Obviously, the next one in this series will be the next book in this series, but I will first do a book review that nobody asked for, and that will be The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster. So be on the lookout for that video. And I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your week.